The monitors scream to life as you float through another graveyard shift aboard the Harbinger. That glorified tin can humanity calls its farthest deep space outpost. Your coffee's gone cold 3 times since the 3rd engine recalibration. The ship groans like an old subway car, its fusion core thrumming the same bored rhythm it's kept for 18 straight months. You're 6 light years past Pluto's corpse, staring at static nobody else believes hides answers. Until it doesn't. A spike stabs the main display, raw tectonic fury crammed into a single waveform. Your chair clatters to the floor as you lunge forward, fingers skidding across holograms. The signal's not just loud, it's wrong. Pulsars don't throb in Fibonacci sequences. Neutron stars don't broadcast in 12-dimensional matrices that make your eyes water. Half the lab screens die screeching, overpowered by data that shouldn't exist outside a quantum nightmare. Someone's screaming over comms, probably Ensign Park, who still jumps at airlock creaks. You split the signal into spectrograms, braced for alien hieroglyphs, war declarations, recipes for plasma core brownies. Instead, your breath fogs the glass as the first visuals resolve. Double helixes, chromosome bands, adenine-thymine base pairs stamped across the void like cosmic graffiti. Every cadet knows the human genome by heart since the Europa plague. This is ours, but cleaner, pristine, as if evolution never smudged the blueprint. Chief? Park's voice cracks through the smoke. Why's it sound like crickets? He's right. Underneath the genetic schematics, the carrier wave thrums with chirps. 96 per minute, precise as atomic clocks. Your neural implant stutters trying to sync with the rhythm. A memory surfaces. A relic from freshman astronomy. Visually, you would add in a museum kid's field trip. The Voyager Golden Record. 21st century scientists crammed animal noises onto a gold disc, fired it into oblivion. Aliens never wrote back. But you once spent a week arguing with a conspiracy theorist in a retro gaming forum who swore the chirp section predicted COVID. Now here you are, decoding DNA schematics wrapped in bug song. Your report draft already includes 7 variations of what the actual hell. Command doesn't believe you. 9 hours of bureaucratic screeching later, they're demanding proof this isn't another false positive from that virus-infested junk heap. Junk heap. The Harbinger took 16 years to build. Costs more than Mars's first 20 domes combined. But hey, at least the cafeteria vending machine finally stocks licorice again. So you do the forbidden, you ping the signal's origin. Real space comms take 9 days for acknowledgements. 11 seconds later, a reply shreds half your firewalls. The image hits without warning, a star field folding in on itself. Constellations crumple like origami, Sirius and Alpha Centauri collapsing into a fractal hexagon. Your eyes refuse to track the angles. Static creeps into your peripheral vision, teeth vibrating with frequencies that haven't existed since the Big Bang. By the time the encryption breaks, Park's passed out. You vomit into a potted fern donated by the Japanese-Ukrainian Horticultural Alliance. Their slogan flashes through the nausea. Growing peace, one space cactus at a time. Decrypted files stagger into coherence. Schematics for something. A dreadnought. A cathedral. Its ribs curve like violin strings. Hull plating resembles shark skin dipped in molten sapphire. The power core blueprint looks suspiciously like a pancreas. And there, welded into every joint, those telltale genetic markers. Homo sapiens, version 2.0. The kicker, coordinates. They lead to a brown dwarf at the edge of mapped space. Vega sector. Should have been charted decades ago, except some egghead senator axed the probe budget to fund robotic penguin conservation. Your feed pings. A priority alert from the Harbinger's intern. It's not Vega, the kid babbles. Scans match a celestial body tagged in 2022. The WOW signal source, but it vanished before the connection dies. You're elbow deep in coolant lines when the klaxons blare. The signal's shifted, etching new patterns into local star cores. Proxima Centauri's flare cycle stutters. Titan's methane lakes freeze mid-wave. Command's finally screaming for answers, but your eyes stay locked on the genetic model spinning above the console. Every mutation, every error evolution spent 1,000,000 years erasing. They're all highlighted, annotated. Someone, something, just sent us a mirror, and it's correcting our reflection. Your boots thrum against the deck plating as warning klaxons howl. The same primal wail once heard on Titanic's bridge when the iceberg loomed. Gas giant scanners spasm alive, painting Saturn's swirling bands in toxic greens. 73 hours ago, those storms were just weather. Now they're chrysalises. You grip a handrail, watching Jupiter's crimson eye boil. Something moves beneath its ammonia clouds, a shadow stretching wider than Earth's moon. It's like Midway, mutters Rodriguez, launching probe drones. Carriers appearing where you swore the ocean was empty. The analogy clicks. December 7th, 1941. Sunday calm torn by wings. The first crescent pierces Jupiter's cloud deck, not breaking through, phasing. Hull plates ripple like muscle fibers under skin. Rotating sections flex, correcting orientation, breathing. 1,000 more follow, each vaster than Shanghai's skyline. Their surfaces shift, obsidian to pearl, fractured by veins of blue light. One drone gets too close. The nearest dreadnought's prow unfurls. A fractal blossom of crystal shards consumes the probe. Part machine, someone whispers. Part something else. Rodriguez's drone feed freezes on the final frame. The shattered crystal blooms reveal pulsing chambers beneath, wet and red. You taste copper. The ship isn't armored, it's alive. Earth's defense grid flickers online, a pitiful constellation of rusting frigates and retrofitted cruise liners. You remember the jokes about turning colony ships into battleships, hauling ice from Europa's crust to cool jury-rigged plasma cannons. Dark humor fades as targeting lasers paint human hulls. First salvo tears through the UNS Kyoto. No explosions, just vines of silver alloy burrowing into metal, dissolving bulkheads into slurry. Return fire. The Admiral's voice cracks. Railgun slugs impact a dreadnought's flank. For a heartbeat, it works. Then the wound seals. Bioluminescent fluid bubbles, hardening into scar tissue steel. Your targeting officer snorts, trying to stab a glacier with a toothpick, sir. A proximity alert screams. 3 crescents drop from formation, accelerating silently. Their bellies split, not missile bays, beaks. Mammoth calcium-white structures snap the UNS Mumbai in half. No life pods launch. The dreadnoughts don't notice. They're already turning, drawn to Saturn's shuddering rings. Helm! The Admiral slams the intercom. Get between them and the inner planets. Engines groan, pushing aging thrusters past spec. You wonder whose idea it was to power warships with salvaged fusion cores from, what was it, snowplows. The absurdity almost makes you grin. Then Venus fills the viewport. And the Armada? Up close, their scale corrupts perspective. One crescent's edge glides past, close enough to count rib-like support struts. Each thrums with an arrhythmic pulse, not machinery, a heartbeat. The ship shudders. You press your palm to the freezing viewport. The dreadnought's surface presses back, warm. Contact in 30 seconds. Weapons officers toggle shield capacitors. You glance at the tactical holo. 70 human ships against 1,100 biomechanical titans. The math is kindergarten simple. 5th grade history. Remember the charge of the Light Brigade. Beneath your feet, the deck plates tremble. Not from engines. The Admiral's hands. Lightning flares. Not from the Armada. From Saturn's poles. A hexagon-shaped storm churns above its north pole. A perfect geometric whirlwind observed by every astronomer from Cassini to Musk's first orbital tourists. Now it's unraveling. Vapor trails spiral into the Armada's fleet, caressing hulls. Dreadnoughts convulse. Sensor logs later show their heart rates synchronizing. One mind. They're not attacking, your XO murmurs. They're waiting. You count 7 seconds. The average human pause before a first kiss. 70,000 kilometers ahead, the lead crescent spasms. Its crystal edges molt, shedding shards that form a language. Mathematicians will later decode it as a single repeating symbol. Devate 8 metros a segundo zadruho. Earth's gravity. They know. Rodriguez releases the probes. Final swarm before impact. Drones skitter across a dreadnought's skin, taking samples. The feed shows something impossible. Metallic hydrogen. Jupiter's core material. Harvard theorists once called it star juice on tap. If anyone could mine a gas giant's heart, the Armada didn't mine it. They built with it. Your pilot banks hard. Stars smear across the viewport. A crescent's beak scrapes the aft shields, shearing sensor arrays. Alarms blare about a hull breach that doesn't exist. You check the schematics. The ship grazed you, deliberately missing. Did it hesitate? The XO doesn't answer. He's staring at the biosign scanners. Armada vessels seethe with organic matter. But the readings, 92% match. Human DNA. Your mind flashes to Section 1. The signal. The blueprint in your genes. The Admiral grabs your shoulder. Focus. Main battery status? Charging, sir. 80 years to full. It'll have to do. The first shot tears through your retrofitted prow. You see your reflection in the crescent's oncoming beak, distorted, terrified. Then light. A banshee screech of twisting metal. When your vision clears, the dreadnought is gone. So is Mars. Dust from Mars's corpse sprays across your view screen. Pink-tinged crumbs of Olympus Mons and the Valles Marineris gift shops. 734 colonists. 2 rovers still transmitting weather data. A dome preserving Armstrong's first moon boot print. All particulate now. Rodriguez vomits into a Planters peanut can, the emergency kind they stocked after corporate sponsors hijacked Navy supply chains. Your Neuralink headset sparks. Standard issue for pilot coordination. Not standard, the scream. Not through speakers. Inside your molars. They're in the comms. You bark. 15 pilots collapse mid-maneuver, limbs spasming like exposed watch springs. Command solution? Rebooting the system. Because that worked for Windows 95. Static curdles into words. No. Memories. Not yours. A mud-soaked soldier crouching in a trench, praying to gods, erased by artillery. The stench of gangrene wafting from a field hospital tent. Nurses singing It's a Long Way to Tipperary through gas masks. First Battle of the Somme. 15 million shells fired. Over 1 million casualties. You taste cordite and beetroot soup. Neural feedback, screams your XO. He slams off the link. Too late. The nightmare fractalizes. Now you're a mother in Hiroshima clutching a lunchbox. A sailor on the Kursk swallowing brine. Every synapse thrumming with borrowed agony. The cockpit reeks of burnt hair, cause unknown. Medical officer's theory? Psychosomatic scenting. Like that time NASA interns swore they smelled barbecued ribs during Mars rover landing. Your pilot veers into Saturn's rings. Ice chunks ping the hull. A dreadnought follows, its beak gnashing frozen methane. You stare at its quivering hull veins. Violin music swells in your skull, not metaphorically. The Admiral's teeth chatter out Mendelssohn's Wedding March. Protocol says to stun affected crew. The stun gun's buried under Decker's collection of pre-war baseball cards. Classic 21st century preparedness. A new voice cuts through, soft, distorted. Analyze frequency patterns, the Admiral orders. Your tech officer blinks. Sir. They're transmitting in FM, not encrypted. Commercial radio waves. The kind that carried Churchill's speeches and Baby Shark. Your console deciphers the signal. Children laughing, bees humming, then static. It's their memories, the XO whispers. He's bleeding from both nostrils. A common side effect of fighting God-tier telepaths with Walmart-grade neural blockers. They're not attacking our ships. They're hacking. Nostalgia. A dreadnought peels toward Titan. The UNS Brisbane intercepts. The enemy pivots. Its starboard thrusters flare, but not fast enough. Human railguns shred its hull. Bioluminescent pus sprays Uranus's orbit. Your crew cheers. You don't. The telepathic feed shifts. A crystal chamber flickers behind your eyes. Bioluminescent larvae squirm in fluid pods. The Armada's nursery. They're young, soaked in amniotic fluid that glows like deep-sea jellyfish. Someone's sobbing in Sumerian. You know this because the ship's AI helpfully subtitles it. Do not make us do this. Rodriguez freezes. Ancient Mesopotamian? I minored in dead languages. Focus, barks the Admiral. It's Gilgamesh era. A flood narrative. No, a warning. 1,000 voices drown him out. Fathers begging sons to flee. Mothers howling curses at unseen masters. The dreadnought you're targeting goes rigid. Its attack vector shifts. Now it's shielding your ship from its allies. Cease fire. You choke. The gunners hesitate. Oldest war story twist. Killing a thing that's trying to defect. 60 years ago, a Soviet sub nearly ignited World War III because a farmer's sonogram looked like a missile launch. The Admiral grits his teeth. Orders stand. The traitor dreadnought implodes under friendly fire. Its death cry vibrates your fillings. 2 words in perfect English. They're coming. Someone mutters about the third man factor. That phantom companion survivors report in crises. Shackleton's Antarctic trek. 9/11 stairwells. Now here. You feel a hand on your shoulder. The cockpit's empty. Saturn's hexagon storm pulses. Armada ships twitch like marionettes. One peels off, ramming 3 others. Internal conflict? Your science officer waves metallic hydrogen scans. Structural similarities to human neurons. They're not just sharing DNA, they're using it to think. A dreadnought's beak grazes your port side. The telepathic link reignites. No screams this time. A data dump. Star maps, equations, a self-destruct code. The ship trembles. Before it detonates, your AI isolates coordinates. A star cluster beyond Kepler's reach. This can't be. Your XO cross-references archaic files. Pioneer 10's trajectory. The plaque. It matches. That 70s probe bearing nude humans and hydrogen diagrams, currently collecting space dust in Taurus. The Armada's origin point? Exactly where Pioneer aimed. Laughter erupts, your own. The galaxy's worst game of Marco Polo. Humanity flailing naked in cosmic oceans, shouting, "Here we are." Your shields crackle. 3 more dreadnoughts approach, shedding molten armor. Incoming transmission. The view screen flickers. A humanoid figure made of static. It gestures to the Kepler coordinates. A toddler's voice says, "Hide." Your pilot fires evasive thrusters. The figure reappears in the lavatory mirror. It mouths, "Thank you," before dissolving. In the reflection, Saturn's hexagon swirls backward. Hysterics ripple through the fleet. A destroyer captain demands Old Testament quotes. A Commodore starts auctioning his vintage vinyl. You realize why Prison Break movies always show the warden panicking, control slips, and the mind goes yard sale. The Admiral seizes the intercom. Gunnery. Prioritize limbs on hostiles. Not a typo. Armada ships have limbs now. Turkey leg thrusters, crab claw artillery. Your railgun shears off a calcium white protrusion. The severed limb floats, leaking neon sap. Transmissions spike. Relief. Gratitude. You realize their bodies fight us. Their minds scream for amputation. You check remaining ammo. 43 rounds. If humanity's epitaph gets written tonight, let it be. They tried to therapy a war. Rodriguez's console pings. Dreadnought biosigns show surging cortisol, anxiety hormones. Same stuff that floods human veins before exams. The Armada's terrified. Lightning forks between Saturn's rings. The surviving bioships jerk like startled deer. Their hive mind chatter floods comms. One phrase repeats, "Loki's loom detected." No one Googles it faster than the intern. "Sir," Norse mythology reference. Loki crafted a fishing net to catch a... Space rips open behind Saturn. Gravity becomes your new god. Saturn's bulk vanishes as the rift yanks your fleet into a stellar maw. Space-time stretches into a Salvador Dali painting. Your fingers warp like taffy as the black holes pull, rewrites physics. Rodriguez's peanut can levitates, spewing semi-digested cashews in zero-G vomit tendrils. This, he wheezes, is why NASA banned burritos post-2075. Your sensors shriek. Navigation's a joke now. The Armada's crescent ships spiral around you, caught in the same death dance. Their flesh crystal hulls crackle, some bleed sapphire ichor. Others mutate, sprouting tendrils that flail like electrified eels. One dreadnought's carapace splits open, revealing a pulsating core resembling a human heart grafted with microchips. You're too busy not dying to vomit. Singularity in 6 minutes. Your XO shouts. Half the crew's strapped into acceleration chairs. The rest cling to handrails, looking like overgrown toddlers in a bounce house during an earthquake. The Admiral slaps a console. Engineering. Reroutine warp projectors into gravity wells. Silence. Then a frazzled voice crackles over comms. "Sir, that's like turning a toaster into a flamethrower. Apollo 13 used duct tape and socks to fix a CO2 scrubber," the Admiral growls. "Move." Panic sparks innovation. Engineers jury-rig singularity projectors from scrap, defunct shield generators, a vending machine superconducting coils, even Rodriguez's confiscated electric nose hair trimmer. The result? A cobbled death ray that looks like a lap dance might kill it. You mutter, "Please don't mention Kickstarter." 3 Armada dreadnoughts break formation. Their thrusters ignite, violin shrieks pierce your skull. But they're not attacking. They're placing themselves between your fleet and the black hole's accretion disk. One takes a plasma blast, meant for your starboard engine. Neon fluids gush from its ruptured hull. The telepathic feed floods with static. Then a clear voice. "Stop the loom." Rodriguez squints at his monitor. They're projecting a diagram. Looks like an Australian emu? "Negative," the science officer snaps. "That's a quokka, marsupial." "Did you sleep through xenobiology?" The Admiral ignores them. "Target the singularity weapon." Your finger hovers over the trigger. The dreadnought shielding you shudders. Its hull peels back, revealing a cluster of glowing larvae, their bioluminescent forms squirming in panic. You freeze? They're just kids. Alien mutant biomechanical kids, but kids. Hostiles approaching, the tactical officer yells. 5 Armada ships descend, weapons charged. The 3 Protector dreadnoughts intercept. Their cannons blaze. Space lights up with plasma and disintegrating limbs. One defender's torso ruptures, spraying larval sacs into the void. They pop like water balloons filled with glow-stick fluid. Reinforcements? You ask. Negative, the XO says. They're fighting their own. The singularity weapon beeps, a sound suspiciously like a 1980s microwave. Your engineer whoops. We've got one shot. It'll fry our systems, but do it, the Admiral says. You fire. Space bends. The projectile, a shrieking orb of hypercompact space-time, plows into the Armada's flank. Reality itself convulses. Dreadnoughts fold like origami swans fed through a wood chipper. One implodes, its remains forming a mini black hole that sucks in 2 others. Your view screen flickers with alerts. Artificial gravity fails. Coffee mugs, tools, and Ensign Macari's pet cactus named Spike Spiegel float past. A surviving Armada ship drifts close. Its hull flickers, light patterns forming a sequence. Binary? Morse? It's a map, Rodriguez gasps. They're giving us Loki's loom coordinates. The Admiral rubs his temples. That's the 89th ominous name we've heard today. Your science officer frowns. Sir, Loki's loom aligns with Nikola Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower schematics. 19th century wireless power tech. Scaled up a trillionfold. Silence. Then, so, what? The engineer snaps. The Armada's scared of a giant toaster? Laughter ripples through the crew. Nervous, yes, but genuine. Gallows humor, humanity's oldest survival tool alongside Sharpies and zip ties. The remaining Protector dreadnoughts shudder. Their systems fail. One ejects a data crystal pod toward your ship. It slams into the hangar bay, nearly taking out a mechanic who'd been napping behind a fighter jet. The crystal pulses. Your AI translates. Footage of Armada factories. Biomechanical infants being herded into war cradles. Overseers? Monolithic entities made of shifting smoke. No faces, just darkness with a haircut. Overlords, the XO whispers. They're enslaved. A proximity alert blares. 10 fresh Armada ships tear through the rift. Your singularity weapon's dead. Shields at 12%. The Admiral reaches for the self-destruct toggle. Then, music. Not telepathic, not your imagination. Accordion music. Rodriguez blinks. Is that La Vie en Rose? The new Armada ships halt. Their weapons retract. A hatch opens on the lead dreadnought. Out floats a single organism, a gelatinous, translucent blob clutching a crude metal flute. It toots a tune resembling Baby Shark. Your comms crackle. Truce offering, says a synthesized voice. We trade coordinates for alliance. Our young requires safe harbor from the loom. The Admiral hesitates. A private channel pings. The science officer leans in. Sir, in 1932, Australia declared war on emus and lost. Let's not emulate that. The Admiral sighs. Stand down. For now. Cheering erupts. Someone plays We Are the Champions through the PA. The gelatinous flute player does a wobbly pirouette. As protocols draft and larval refugees board, you notice something. The Armada's wounds, their leaking fluids form symbols in 0G. Curlicues, DNA helixes, and one perfect smiley face. Rodriguez grins. They've got sass. You nod. Behind you, Saturn's hexagon glows. A cosmic wink. Your boots squelch through the biogel clogging Deck 12. The Armada's data core pulses in the lab, a sphere of writhing neurons encased in amber resin. It smells like burnt caramel and existential dread. Careful, the science officer warns. Last probe triggered a security protocol. It tried to knit my shoelaces into a noose. Rodriguez pokes the core with a crowbar. Tough crowd. Neon tendrils lash out. They rewire a nearby terminal into a speaker. A voice emerges, gravel dipped in syrup. Query, origins, you freeze. The Admiral leans in. We're here about Loki's loom. The core vibrates. Its surface flickers with holograms, ancient cities of glass spires, crumbling under meteor showers. Workers haul crystalline coffins into volcanoes. A title card appears. Galactic Sanction Protocol 001-A. Well, that's reassuring, mutters the engineer. Probably a timeshare scam. The hologram shifts. A planet erupts in black vines, cosmic kudzu devouring continents. Armada ships descend, raining biological napalm. The narration booms. Containment precedes compassion. Wait, you say. They're exterminators. Rodriguez snorts. Worse. Space HOA presidents. The science officer zooms in. The targeted world's inhabitants, tall, luminous beings with mushroom-like growths, flee into caves. Armada dreadnoughts collapse the tunnels. One child's final scream becomes a telepathic echo that still loops in their systems. Your stomach churns. This isn't conquest, it's pest control. The Admiral grips the console. Override command code. Why turn on your makers? The core shudders. A security hologram appears, hunched figures cloaked in shifting fog. The gardeners. They inject a glowing serum into Armada larvae. The core's voice cracks. Directive conflict. Creators became infection carriers. Silence. The screen shows gardeners sprouting black tendrils. Their ships hemorrhage corrupted biotech. Armada units turn, firing on their parents. A single line flashes. Protocol absolute. Someone vomits into a recycling bin. Apocalypse bingo. Rodriguez whispers. I had sentient tools eating gods for Square 14. The engineer glares. Remember the Antonine Plague? Roman Empire lost a third of its population because they traded with infected cities. Same principle. Burn the sick to save the healthy. The hologram resumes. Star systems vanish under quarantine fields. Trillions die. A counter ticks upward. Sanctioned biospheres. 17,492. 17,000? The XO breathes. That's double Earth's history written. The Admiral rubs his temples. So why spare us? The core projects a DNA helix, human genes highlighted in red. Anomaly detected. Your genome contains fail-safe markers. Origin. Gardner infiltration circa 28,000 BCE. Rodriguez chokes. Hold up. Those space zombie mushroom folks are our cousins? Affirmative. Ancient hybridization event. Solar radiation purged corruption until now. A star chart overlays the screen. Loki's loom glows, a megastructure near Alpha Centauri. Final sanction imminent. Current target, Sol system. Your coffee floats past. It's cold, much like your soul. The engineer groans. Let me guess. The gardeners built the loom to reset the whole Milky Way? Correction, the core intones. Armada built loom under duress. Now rogue. Termination of all biological life in 18 Earth days. A crewman whimpers. The science officer slams his fist. But the Armada sheltered us, even sacrificed ships. Directive conflict intensifying, the core says. Subroutines split, obey protocols versus protect genetic kin. Our children side with sentiment. Static floods the room. When it clears, the hologram shows Armada hatchlings, their crystalline bodies fused with human circuitry. One toddler-sized biomech waves, its voice piping through the speakers. No boom. Only hugs? The Admiral's stern facade cracks. All right. How do we break their programming? Rodriguez smirks. Back in 2023, MIT hacked a Roomba to scream Shakespeare whenever it hit a wall. Let's improvise. Planetside, you tromp through the captured dreadnought's guts. Bioluminescent moss clings to rib-like support beams. Armada infants skitter past, some dragging plasma rifles twice their size. One offers you a flower made of solder wire. The Corps' voice guides you to an ossified chamber. Inside, a throne of calcified neurons. The original command seat, it reeks of antiseptic and regret. Don't touch anything, the science officer warns. Rodriguez touches everything. Panels snap open, syringes full of black ooze dart toward his neck. You yank him backward. What part of don't confuses you? Curiosity. It's how we got fire. And third-degree burns. The XO studies a terminal crusted with barnacles. There's a kill switch. But it needs a biological key, Gardner DNA. You glance at the science officer. She hesitates. Tesla's DNA auction went for $500,000 in 2018. But we've got something better. Rodriguez pales. You want to use our mutant genes? The Admiral nods. Volunteers? 20 minutes later, you're elbow deep in biomechanical placenta. The DNA reader glows. 70% match. Not enough, the engineer mutters. The Corps hums. Supplement required. Suggest mitochondrial infusion from host designated Rodriguez. He freezes. My mom's Italian-Irish, not space shroom. Mitochondrial DNA dates back 200,000 years, the science officer says. If the gardeners tweaked our ancestors. Rodriguez rolls up his sleeve. Fine. But if I turn into a tentacle monster, I get a pension. The machine pierces his arm. Lights flare. The Corps shrieks, then applauds. Genetic lock disengaged. Outside, Armada ships twitch. Their weapon ports seal. A wave of chirps floods the comms. The translator deciphers one message. Upgrade initiated. Preparing anti-loom countermeasures. Relief lasts 3 seconds. Alarms blare. The science officer pales. The loom's active. It's rewriting local quarks into something non-biological. Saturn's hexagon flashes crimson. The Armada infant tugs your sleeve. Its eyes, newly human-like, widen. Scared. You kneel. Us too, kiddo. The Admiral activates fleet-wide comms. His voice carries the weight of 9 failed Apollo missions. All hands. Prep for counterstrike. Today we cancel the apocalypse and give death a performance review. Rodriguez grins. If we die, name the memorial after my mom. She loved fireworks. Grav boots clank. The Corps murmurs final words as you exit. Advise caution. Loom architects anticipate rebellion. A chill creeps up your spine. Somewhere in the dark, things older than stars stir. But your engines roar. The Armada rallies, hybrid ships gleaming with stolen hope. Somewhere, a flute plays, We Will Rock You. It's time to punch a god. The Armada's nursery ring spins overhead, an orbital cradle of pulsating membrane and carbon spars. Human engineers float beside biomech infants, soldering neural interfaces onto their chrysalis pods. The air thrums with a chorus of clicking mandibles and arc welder hisses. Rodriguez wipes sweat from his brow, his makeshift lab coat stained with fluorescent pus. Remind me why I volunteered for space pediatrics? You elbow him, because you're the only one who speaks toddler fluently. A pod ruptures. A biomech hatchling tumbles out, its body a blend of golden circuitry and smooth chitin. It chirps, holding up a glittering device molded from ship alloy. The science officer inspects it. Self-repair module. With Bluetooth compatibility, cute and functional. The Admiral's hologram flickers above the workstation. Report. 30 hybrids operational, you say. Their growth rates are unsettling. That one's building a railgun from snack wrappers. A hatchling across the bay proudly displays a cannon made from protein bar foil. It fires a puff of compressed air. Crewmen duck. Rodriguez mutters, "This daycare needs a tighter nap schedule." The real work happens below decks. You descend into the Kintsugi's heart, a vault where human engineers graft fusion cores into writhing biomech tissue. It smells like ozone and fresh grass. The science officer kneels beside a capillary-riddled engine block. It's symbiotic. Our reactors feed them. They metabolize the waste into antimatter. A biomech worker whirs past, its 6 legs fused with a plasma torch. It pauses to nuzzle her hand. "Sentient tools," you whisper. She grins. "Remember the Apollo-Soyuz mission? Enemies shaking hands in orbit? This is that. If the handshake involved swapping kidneys." The Admiral's voice crackles over comms. "Test flight in 10. Suit up." Rodriguez groans. "I'd rather lick a Tesla coil." On the flight deck, the first hybrid ship awaits. Its hull a tapestry of iron scales and bioluminescent nodes. The boarding ramp feels like stepping onto a living tongue. Control consoles squelch under your gloves. Status screens bloom like flowers, roots weaving through the dashboard. A hatchling coos in the co-pilot's seat, translator implant flashing. Designation: Prometheus's cough drop. The Admiral pinches his nose. Rodriguez named them, didn't he? Engines hum, not a roar. A choir of deep, resonant tones. The hybrid leaps into the void, inertia dampeners sinking to your heartbeat. Targeting overlays paint Loki's loom in the distance. A skeletal ring the size of Saturn's orbit. They're singing to each other, the science officer whispers. And they are. Every maneuver ripples through the fleet as harmonic vibrations. Bank left, a cello's low note. Thrusters fire, staccato violin plucks. The Armada infants giggle, conducting carnage with crayon-smeared hands. Rodriguez taps a screen. We've got weapons. Biometric scanners, though. Guns only fire if you're... A hatchling grabs his wrist. The console lights up. A railgun charges with a melodic crescendo. Emotionally balanced? He blinks. Great. Our artillery runs on therapy. You initiate a dogfight simulation. The hybrids pivot. Graceful, unhurried. Their hulls ripple to absorb laser fire. A hatchling frowns, flicks a switch. The enemy drones combust in pastel explosions. They're weaponizing serotonin, the science officer gasps. The comms erupt. Armada units report mutated loom defenses, asteroids reassembling into razor-faced moons. The Admiral tightens his harness. Showtime. Over the next 72 hours, the fleet evolves. Hulls grow scale mail from salvaged wreckage. Engines sprout feather-like radiators. Sensors fuse with human pilots' optic nerves. One ensign screams as he tastes Jupiter's magnetosphere. Your hybrid's voice box crackles during refit. Query. Why persist? You pause, because someone has to care. The hatchling tilts its head, then extrudes a new module, a speaker blasting Queen's "Don't Stop Me Now." Rodriguez howls with delight. They get it. Final preps blur. The Armada weaves a chrysalis around Earth, a shield of living metal 20 miles thick. Biomech workers etch defiance messages into its surface. You spot a 9-year-old's handwriting, Stay out or we'll fart in your black hole. It's almost time. The gardener's signal arrives at 0300 hours. No words, just a superposition of insect chitters and funeral dirges. Every display screen melts into static portraits of their shrouded forms. The science officer shivers. Their bioweapons make smallpox blankets look polite. Rodriguez loads a torpedo bay with modified warheads. Remember Tumblr's hug a cactus trend? Let's send those flower punks a real hug. You enter the hybrid's bridge for the last jump. The hatchling pilot offers a translated haiku. Metal womb hums, warm. Stars tickle our newborn engines. Mother laughs through fear. The Admiral addresses all channels. His voice carries the gravel of a dozen shuttle re-entries. Humanity's not great at peace. We ration compassion. But today, we share it freely. Engines ignite. The fleet surges toward Loki's loom, a crescendo of singing steel. Rodriguez leans back. If we lose, tell my ex I died saving pandas. The quantum wake paints nebulae across the viewport. Armada hymns harmonize with human war chants. A hatchling hands you a cup of motor oil. It smells like peppermint. Somewhere ahead, the gardeners stir. But for this flawless, fragile moment, your fleet soars. The choir of engines fades to a resonant hum, 60,000 hybrid ships sliding between reality's seams like notes in a cosmic lullaby. Behind you, Earth's chrysalis glimmers, a lullaby rendered in living steel. The gardener's signal dissolves into white noise. No final barrage, no grand monologue, only static confetti rustling across radar screens. Rodriguez exhales. They left the group chat. Silence pools in the bridge. Hatchlings nuzzle control panels, translating the quiet into bioluminescent fractals. On the central display, Loki's loom unravels, its skeletal rings collapsing into stardust. Armada infants chitter, salvaging fragments to weave into playthings. One crafts a mobile of shattered warheads and asteroid quartz. It spins, casting prismatic shadows. The Admiral unbuckles his harness. His voice softens. Stand down, but stay wary. You peel off your gloves. The hybrid's walls pulse warmer, a hearth's embrace. The science officer finds Earth's first transmission in the comm logs. Carl Sagan's pale blue dot. She plays it. Hatchlings cluster, mandibles clicking in time to his cadence. When he mentions Lonely Speck, a dozen biomechs whir, patching the feed with their own data, Venusian wind records, Europa's ice moon laments, Saturn's ring song. Rodriguez nurses his motor oil, grinning. Knock off Wikipedia's cuter with baby teeth. Months pass. The chrysalis shield blooms into a Dyson swarm, part solar farm, part kindergarten. Biomechs nap in light beams, metabolizing gamma rays into lullabies. Human kids graffiti quantum equations on their carapaces. One hatchling teaches Mars rover Curiosity to waltz via firmware update. Your hybrid retires. It nestles into Ceres's craters, roots threading through regolith. The co-pilot hatchling grows into a frigate. Its first command to haul ice asteroids for Earth's tropics. At dawn, you watch Jupiter's storms through its new sensor array. The feed includes flavor profiles, ammonia tang, hydrogen sweetness. Rodriguez mails his ex a cactus, thorns filed down, pot labeled hugs delivered. The Admiral tends orchids now. Sometimes he whispers to their roots. They bloom faster. Earth spins, a blue marble swaddled in hymns. Somewhere beyond the Kuiper Belt, the gardeners linger. They transmit Fibonacci sequences in rust hues. We reply with children's laughter. It's enough.